Hey, this is Gabe from 1876. This is Grit City Punk.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Grit City Punk, Tacoma's underground news source for punk, hardcore, alternative, indie rock, DIY music scenes in and around the Pacific Northwest. I'm Jeremy. I'm your host. Welcome back. We've got such a great show today. I've got an interview with Gabe from the band 1876. So, holy shit, that's kind of huge. 1876, great band. If you don't know, get to know them. They have a series of powwow punk rock EPs that are amazing. They have played some just absolutely great opening slots and support slots for some big bands and festivals. They're doing it all. They have their own big festival coming up this summer, which we get into during the interview. So super hyped to have Gabe on the show. And we've got also a bunch of new songs to listen to and talk about. The PNW scene does not stop. Bands still be putting out good music. Bands still be playing killer shows. And speaking of killer shows and bands, my band, Sidework, just played our first show. It was last weekend at Slice of Life. It was a benefit show for the Kitsap Immigration Assistance Center. And we played with 15 Stitches, Fishy Mushroom, Hills and Valleys, The Devil and Hi-Fi, The Unsundered, Fuck, Marry, Kill, and Sam Corey. It was a huge bill. It was on the outdoor stage at Slice of Life. The weather was amazing. The bands were cool. Everybody was really cool. As a first show for my band, it was great. I feel like we did a really good job. You know, I'm proud of the work that me and the boys put in for the show. And if you are interested to see or hear the performance and you weren't there, we will have some video coming up soon from it. Be on the lookout because we're not done. We're going to play some more shows probably this summer. We're going to kind of incubate a little bit. And, you know, now that the first show is out of the way, we're going to be Monday morning quarterbacks and review the footage a little bit and build from there. So awesome show. We raised about $300 for the Kitsap Immigration Assistance Center. So huge shout out to everybody involved in that and the Slice of Life. The following weekend, which would be like, 3 days ago as you're hearing this, was the Grit City Punk rock show number 8 at the Slice of Life, also on the outdoor stage. This was the Bring the Ruckus show. We had Kids on Fire, we had Caps Lock, we had MFD, we had Truancy, and we had Casi. And oh my God, it was such an incredible show. The energy was just off the charts. Amazing turnout. The biggest crowd I've ever had at the Slice of Life, which was cool. And also really cool considering there was a Stargazy Pie show the same day at Real Art with Panatella. And there was also a Teenage Bottle Rocket show, which was, I guess, all ages. With Life Rips at the airport. So that was 3 shows in Tacoma that were all ages that were kind of a big deal. And we still had an amazing turnout. We got the cops called on us. That was cool. That's never happened to me at my own show before. So that was cool. They got some noise complaints. I mean, come on, people. This is on Pacific Avenue, like 80th and Pacific Avenue. You're going to call the cops for a noise complaint at 8:30 at night on a Friday? Get fucking real. But it was cool. Cops just said, hey, turn it down a little bit. And we said, sure, no problem. And didn't. And everything was great. Did rush the end of the show to try to beat the actual noise curfew. We didn't, but we got close. So huge shout out to everybody there. Caps Lock, Truancy, Kids on Fire, MFD, Casi. If you haven't seen Casi yet, oh my God, they put on an amazing show. Those guys are super talented and they are having an album coming out. Their debut album is coming out in June. Of course, we're going to talk about that more as we get closer. They have been playing some great shows. They even had Alternative Press do a little write-up on their single, which is really cool. So big things happening for Casi. Big things coming up for Truancy. MFD, unfortunately, that was Chad's last gig with the band. So that was kind of bittersweet, but it was fun, and he'll still be around. He's moving to Portland. He's got a new band down there. MFD will carry on. Chad will carry on. Just a new chapter for them both. Of course, Kids on Fire, the absolute homies. Love them. Love working with them. They are always, always great. And Caps Lock, my friends, Caps Lock, love them. Each time I see Caps Lock, they get just more and more incredible. Like each time just feels more urgent and more important. Huge shout out to those guys. And shout out to Joe and the Slice of Life crew. Shout out to Zay for running sound, even though he had no idea what he was doing. And, we learned together. It was a lot of fun. So thanks for your help on that, buddy. We got more shows coming up. I will talk about it a little bit later, but the Terror in Tacoma 2, which is the next Grit City Punk Rock show, is happening at Real Art. That will be on May 15th. And we are going to have Sunbathe or Die, Storm Boy, Anti-Summer, Downsize, and Surreal, all of which have been featured on this show, and all of which are absolutely killer bands. That's going to be happening on May 15th, Terror in Tacoma 2. Super stoked for that. But without rambling too much longer, let's just get into some new music because there are some great new songs out and I want to talk about them. New music. You want it? I got it. Hardcore band Terror. They have a full length out. It's called Still Suffer. It's great. You can see Terror at Elcor Zone next week. Awesome album from them. Vegas band Roman Candle just released their debut album called Unadulterated. That's killer too. Roman Candle is a great band. Kind of hardcore, kind of leaning a little new metal-y. From Las Vegas. They are the absolute shit. You should check them out. Again, their debut album, it's called Unadulterated, and it fucking rips. Portland band Year of the Coyote has dropped a new LP. It's a Bandcamp only. It's called Hellwall. It's really good. Very heavy, very intense. So if you are into like really, really noisy, heavy hardcore or like death metal or whatever, definitely check out Year of the Coyote. They're from Portland. So on to the local music. We've got a new single from Sharkeologist. It is a cover of, honestly, one of the best Nirvana songs, Aneurysm. They do kind of a almost new wavy post-punk cover of it. It's pretty sweet. So check that out right now. That is Sharkeologist with a new single called Aneurysm. Next up, we've got Seattle punk band Filthy Traitors. They dropped their Nancy Sinatra single, Bang Bang, a couple weeks ago. They're back with an all-new original single called The System, and it really rules. So check that out right here. This is Filthy Traitors with The System. As I mentioned earlier, Casi, Tacoma, Seattle area, hip-hop, punk, electronic, noise band, they're everything. They're anything and everything. They're doing it. They are actually from Spanaway, which is really rad. But they got a new single out. It's called Jumper. It's the lead single off of their self-titled LP, which will be releasing in June. Check out this single if you haven't already and catch them live if you can. Absolutely do it. They are just incredible. Like everything they're doing is just fresh and original. They're merging hip hop with hardcore in ways that feel totally natural and not forced, which I'm always impressed with. So check out the new single from Casi. This is called Jumper.
and I'm screaming out, fuck ice. If I see the motherfuckers, yeah, it's on sight. Niggas ain't been in the middle of a gunfight. She get active, run from, niggas lose life. I be really out the way trying to play rock, but niggas acting like some pigs, it's a straight cops. I ain't trying to lick your bill, this ain't Roblox. Don't get punked by a nigga in a crop top.
20 niggas, but it's nothing to a 4 or 5. 5 deep, but we spin the block 4 times. I've been thinking I've been beefing with the wrong guy. Turn around, stabbed in the back by a friend of mine. How you know it's fake when the only thing you know is real? How you still struggle when you never had to miss a meal? How you keep a tool when you barely even know the drill? August 19, niggas know I'm launched into the sidewalk.
Let's go, I ain't playing around. CA inside, niggas better shit out. Niggas quiet as fuck, well shit is time to get loud. Yeah, I ain't even really hear what I'm talking about.
Shit down!
Local homies, friends of the show, Stargazy Pie, have dropped another single. This one is called Defeatist. They've been playing it live for a while, a better part of a year, I'm sure. I've heard it several times. So they've released the studio version of it. It's a great song, kind of short, just verse, chorus, out kind of deal. And it's nice. It's a really cool song. I appreciate it. So check this out. This is Stargazy Pie with Defeatist.
I want another happy ending, the ending to the story. This didn't work, so I'm just gonna whine. And that's been not my time pretending like I'm not in my 40s. Just wishing I had built a better life. Believe that I can make it if I tried. I'm such a defeated, so I have to lead it. But it's the only thing that I know. Man, I didn't mean it. I planted the seed and when I came in covered with snow. But I want to grow. Yes, I want to grow. I don't know why even bother. I'm always trying to water, so I'm content to let life pass me by. And all my dreams and great ambitions were living with a fiction. They line the dusty cobweb bookshelves of my mind. And I'm so afraid to fail that I won't fly. I'm such a defeatist, so hard to believe it. But it's the only thing that I know. Man, I didn't mean it, since I've been seen it when I came in covered with snow. But I want to grow. Yes, I want to grow. I don't know why even bother.
Seattle straight edge hardcore band Masters of War are gearing up for a new LP coming out in June. It's called The New Gilded Age. They have dropped the first single from that. It's called Victim with a Badge, and it fucking rules. So go check out Masters of War. I believe they're doing pre-orders for their new album, The New Gilded Age. So check this out. This is Victim with a Badge from Masters of War.
Terrorizing all fucking people just because they're brown. Man, fuck you. And what? And what? You're gonna fucking shoot me? I'll die for this shit. Yeah, motherfucker, look at this fucking bitch. Show your face, pussy. Show your face, pussy. Show your face, pussy.
Next up, the band Bad Optics has returned after last year's LP, The Bounded World. They now have a new EP coming out, and the first single from that is out, and it is called Death Cult Blues, and you should definitely check that out. This is Bad Optics with Death Cult Blues.
Across the median, random violence all falls from you. Tension and doubt, spread it out. Tension and doubt, spread it out. Tension and doubt,
everybody's favorite dance punk Seattle band Zookraught has dropped their new LP called Pressure. It's a solid listen all the way through. I'm really enjoying it. We've heard, I think, 4 singles have come out prior to the release of the album. The rest of the album carries suit with those. If you like those singles, you're going to love this album. Zookraught just absolutely killing it out there with everything they do. So here is the first song off of their new album, Pressure. This is called Down Below.
Hellfire. 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 Hellfire.
Longtime Tacoma garage rock punk band Girl Trouble is back with a brand new album coming out. This will be their first album since maybe 93. They've still been around. They've still been playing a few times a year in the area. They are dropping a brand new album called As Is. It'll be available on July 10th. They gave us a single, the first single from that. It's called Make It Mine. And you can hear that right now. And if you've ever heard Girl Trouble before, you know what to expect. They have not changed, like, at all. This new single sounds just like their album Hit It and Quit It or New American Shame. Classic late 80s, early 90s, indie rock, garage rock kind of thing. They were releasing stuff on K Records, and I think this one is still coming out on K Records. They've been playing kind of more frequently lately, which is cool. I haven't been able to check them out because they always seem to play on a Sunday. I don't know why that is, but they should stop and play Fridays and Saturdays instead. So this is Make It Mine from Girl Trouble off of the upcoming LP. And last but certainly not least, local band, the Unsundered. These guys are putting out some quality product. Check them out if you get the chance to. And this is their new single called Turf Island, which actually isn't even out yet. And it features some horns and some other fun stuff. It will be released in the coming weeks. So be on the lookout for that. You can hear it for now. You can hear it here. Grit City Punk, delivering the goods.
sick of all this plastic. I wanna chuck it all in the sea, that would be fantastic. Make a new land for you and me, we'll cover it in astroturf. So pretty and so green, we can sit and watch the surf. Make a little fire with some gasoline, and you can call me Papa Smurf while I rub you down with some Vaseline. Yeah, mama, for what it's worth, I'm so sorry I could be so mean, I just can't take it. I don't wanna be a part of a bad machine, and I cannot fake it. I know I don't belong in this kind of scene. How will we make it? We can't unsee all the things we've seen. Let's just forsake it. Let's forget everything. I will be king, you will be queen. Stay in my daydream. I know you know what I mean. Stay in my daydream. And you can run what you bring, break it down for me. Yeah. Take it down, take it down, take it. Stay in my daydream, my daydream. Stay in my daydream. Maybe we can make some stuff. We sell it to all our friends, and when we've made enough, we can finally make amends. We'll really show what's up. Let them know we're not pretending. When we've had enough, we'll be rolling down the road in a Mercedes Benz. 'Cause I just can't take it. I don't wanna be a part of a bad machine, and I cannot fake it. I know I don't belong in this kind of scene. How will we make it? We cannot see all the things we see. Let's just forsake it. Let's forget everything. I will be king, you will be queen. Stay in my daydream. Stay with me, stay with me, stay with me, stay in my daydream. Like your pink jelly bean, stay in my daydream. I got a new trampoline, stay in my daydream. I like your peaches and cream, stay in my daydream. I got a big submarine, stay in my daydream. I'll bite your lazy snake, sweet little thing. I've got a new diamond ring. Let's go do something obscene.
But God's coming at you.
It's coming at you.
It's coming at you.
It's coming at you.
My name is Gabe. I am also AKA'd as Mr. Steal Your Girl Some Horses. And I am the singer and guitar player in the powwow punk rock band, the world's only powwow punk rock band, 1876.
Tell me about Steal Your Girl Some Horses.
It's just a play on there's a singer who says it's Mr. Steal Your Girls.
Ah, gotcha.
Steal your girl, that's what it is, Mr. Steal Your Girl. And my people steal horses, so well, we used to.
Yeah, gotcha. So how did you get into punk music?
I got into it as a kid. It was just kind of natural, I guess, like the way everybody does. I have two older brothers, and so one of my oldest brother would like listen to a lot of grunge and punk rock because that's what was like big at the time. So I heard a lot from him and a lot from his room and my friends and stuff. My friend Mark, who used to be in the band, in this band, he sent me like he would always show me punk records and stuff like that, and we would hang out and listen to records, listen to albums, and it's kind of how I got into it. I think the first punk song that really like grabbed me and like held on to me was "Come Come with Me" by the Deviants. Like I don't know why, but that song just like something about that song was like really captivating for me, and it kind of like sent me down that road of like figuring out what punk rock was and whatever. I would listen to it before soccer games, and and they would get me like super pumped up. That and "On the Outside" by No Use for a Name. I'd heard punk rock before, like I'd heard punk music before those two songs, but those two songs, for whatever reason, they just like they grabbed me and held on.
That No Use for a Name song that's a banger.
Yeah. I remember the drums on that song was the fastest drums I'd ever heard
Yeah.
up until that point.
So where did you grow up at?
I grew up in Portland, Oregon.
Okay, so you're native Portland.
Yep.
So were you ever a music student, or what is your background with performing music?
I never really took any music lessons. I was in choir in middle school, I think, and like at the end of grade school into middle school. I went to an all like a predominantly black middle school, and for a while, and then that school had choir, and so like I was just put into choir immediately. I guess that's the only kind of like music training I had. I grew up singing like powwow songs and mostly traditional songs, like hand drum songs and things like that. But I never really took any music lessons. Just like was the type of person, still am the type of person. If you hand me an instrument, I will figure it out.
Yeah. So you're pretty much self-taught on guitar then?
Guitar, drums, bass, piano,
Okay.
flute. I think that's it.
That's plenty enough, I'm sure. So what does punk mean to you as far as the culture or the ethos?
It's kind of difficult because as an Indian person, it means something different because we mean what we say when we say it. So I grew up listening to punk rock, really believing in all these white dudes, believing that they meant what they said. And as I've grown and as I've met a lot of these guys, they don't really mean what they say. But punk rock to me it's a lot about individuality. It's a lot about it's individuality within parameters, I guess. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really difficult to say, to be honest, because punk rock means so much it means something different to everyone. And like where punk rock comes from, depending on where you see it. Like if you think it's the Sex Pistols, well then punk rock was manufactured and it was just to sell clothes from that shop. If you think it's the Ramones, then you're wrong. If you think it's Dead from Detroit, they were just playing as fast as they could because they were young dudes. And yeah, so I don't know, but the ethos, it seems the agreed upon ethos is like looking out for each other, caring for your community, building community, and trying to keep a very solid like moral compass, which is already indigenous culture. That's already how we are. So for me, hearing punk rock, it was like I was hearing music put to what my people had already been teaching me, but music that was from outside of my culture. So it was like seeing and hearing the same values that we have as indigenous people, but in a different kind of music than what I grew up hearing, which was like traditional music and powwow music and stuff like that. But I don't know if that answers the question. That's a tough question.
It is a tough question. No, I think you pretty much nailed it. It's very interesting to hear your specific take on it, given your background and stuff. Now, I don't know if you want to go into detail or not, but as far as some punk guys not meaning what they say. Can you go into a little bit of detail? I mean, I don't know if you want to put anybody
Yeah, I
on
mean,
blast or
I
not,
won't
but
name names, but like I would say the most discerning, or like the thing that is kind of like, it's just like hearing bands go on stage and talk about like we have the power, we are the power, or like bands specifically saying what's your plan for tomorrow? Will you take back the power? Things like that. And as an Indian kid, I was like, hell yeah, like I'm for this, blah blah blah. And then you get to meeting these people and you get around these people and listen to how they act and move, and you're like, wait, so when you were saying let's take back the power, was this a white thing? Was this about you taking back the power for your people? I thought you were like, I thought you were saying like we as the majority, or we or even as the minority, as punk rockers, we as a collective have the power, which is absolutely true. And I thought that you were
yeah.
breathing like energy into that. But now when I talk to you and I watch the way that you move, and I watch how you talk to the people around you and who you're uplifting and elevating and who you're not, now I'm wondering, was this all for white people? And I was mistaken that as an Indian person, I resonated with what you were saying. So things like that, or just hearing bands like talk about social change, and it's just for the stage. Like they just say it so they can get some cheers, but they don't really mean that shit. Like they don't really like, you give them options. For instance, like last year with Punk in the Park, I went to all these bands and I gave them the option like to come. All they had to do
Yeah.
was walk across this bridge to our festival, which was like a fundraiser for my tribe. And the I gave them the option because the dude they were working with was doing so much harm. I gave them the
Yeah.
option, just walk across this bridge, come listen to the bands, come talk to us. We can teach, like, let us teach you about our like our vision. Let us teach you about our tribe. Let us teach you about our victory. Things like that. And it's such an easy way. You take 20 minutes out of your day to do a lot of good that will make a big difference and make a big change for a lot of the bad that you're working with. And all of them are just like, nah,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna do that. So, and these are like,
Yeah.
these are people that I grew up listening to, and I talk to them face to face, like one to one. I talk to you, and few of those bands are like, no, I didn't. That's bullshit. I talked to them face to face, eye to eye, looked them all in the eye. A lot of the bands, not all the bands, but a lot of the bands, I looked eye to eye, or tried to get to them, and they specifically
Mhm.
made it impossible for me to get to them because they didn't want to talk to me because I'd been tagging them and like messaging them and things like that. So
Yeah.
those kind of things, like I believe in your words, and you don't even believe in them.
That whole Punk in the Park fiasco was, God, that was a mess anyways. So who does walk the walk? In your experience, who walks the walk and really does what they say they're about?
I would say a lot of minority bands, like a lot of bands made of indigenous people, black people, Mexican people who are also indigenous. A lot of them do, a lot of them don't. A lot of them do though. I'd say weighed out, more bands within the community of like minorities live the life they say they're living and walk the walk that they say they're walking, compared to
Yeah.
white bands in punk rock or wherever saying like this is the life that they want or whatever. But I don't know, it's a good mix. Like I think, to be honest, like in the world, I would say queer people typically walk the walk. Like they typically live the life that they say that they're
Yeah.
living. Like you look at their bumper, and it's just covered in bumper stickers that say all these things, and you meet that person, and that's typically the person you're meeting.
Well, they live that shit. That's their personal experience, not just coming from, I mean, and I'll say this as a white person, like coming from a place where maybe you don't experience those things firsthand and you're only hearing about them. It is harder for most people to relate to it if you don't actually experience it yourself, or talk to somebody who experiences
Yeah,
it.
that's what's interesting is like punk rock has experienced that, and I hear that from people. Like I appreciate people like you, like saying like maybe I haven't experienced it, blah blah blah. But punk rock has experienced what we've experienced. We're the test of all that kind of stuff. Indigenous people, black people, our cultures are the test
Mhm.
for how you can. Actually, it's the other way. Punk rock and things like that are the test for how they can eventually erase us out of the culture, out of everything. But they've done it to us, and that's why we can see it when it happens. Like skateboarding, it happened. Punk rock, it happened. Ska, it happened, and ska was already on its way of being like taken over and whatever. But when something is radicalized and when something is
Mhm.
used to be able to change the narrative and be able to make young people specifically open their eyes into their own individuality, into their own truth, and allows them to see the truth and hear the truth, the government will step in and like make that corporate. Like the government has figured out and corporations have figured out that if you buy something, if you are able to make something buyable, it takes the power away. So our culture as indigenous
Yeah.
people, black culture, you will find that when something starts making a movement and you start figuring out a way to tell the truth, people will come in and make it something that you can buy so that when you're on stage or when you are wherever you are telling the truth, people are like, "Oh, no, that's just like a fad." It happened to skateboarding. It happened to punk rock. So when skaters and punk rockers and metal and people like that, all like the Satanic Panic, all that stuff, when people from those communities come to us and say we haven't experienced it, no, you have. You don't see it the way you're blind to it because it's part of American culture to buy and sell things that can make a change. I don't know. I don't know if I said that correctly, but
No, I think I know what you're getting at. And you mentioned ska, and that immediately made me think of why I have such a complicated relationship with ska because when I was growing up, there was a few ska bands like Real Big Fish and Goldfinger and stuff. And I'm like, hey, this music is cool. But then as I dug a little deeper, I found bands like The Specials, and I'm like, okay, they're cool, and they also
yeah,
had some shit to say. But then you take that and you Americanize it, well, bring it to America with punk rock values, and you get like Op Ivy and Suicide Machines and stuff, and they're making it more aggressive, but still having something to say. And then a few years later, you look at the big corporate bands like Mighty Mighty Boss Tones or Aqua, what is it, the Aquanauts or whatever? I don't even know them very well, but Aquabats. Um, but yeah, and it just turns into just this, a bunch of guys wearing matching suits playing birthday party music. And it just becomes a joke in the
yeah,
culture.
man. I love the specials. I love ska. And that third wave ska, like
Yeah.
it holds a special place in my heart. But for sure, like as I grew out of the demographic and I started looking at it, I also started seeing that like
Hmm.
this kind of like and discovering like two-tone ska and going backwards and hearing where it comes from. Like that's when I was, oh, this is the shit that
Yeah.
matters. This is fun for sure.
Yeah.
But this is where the important stuff is.
Right. Absolutely. So what is the significance of the name 1876?
1876 is in reference to the Battle of Little Bighorn. It's June 25th and 26th, where the 7th Cavalry came to steal the Cheyenne way of life and stop us from being who we are. And we're invading our part of the country. And we had already tried to make peace with them, and they had already written treaties with us, and they broke those treaties. And amongst like Indian way, we made peace with them, and they broke those promises too. So on June 25th, 26th, the Oglala, the Hunkpapa, a bunch of Lakotas, the Northern Cheyenne, we were just Cheyenne at the time, the Arapaho, and then like a group of Blackfeet. They say there was like 10, 12 Blackfeet people there. We all got together and we defended our way of life against the 7th Cavalry and the United States government, and we beat them. And Custer died on the 26th, and this is in reference to that, but it's less about the killing of Custer and all that stuff because fuck him and let him rot and forget about him. But it's more about the unity of the tribes that came together, and were able to accomplish that. And it's a reminder to Indian people and people alike and humans alike, but Indian people specifically in this country. When we come together and we support each other and we're there for each other and we have a common goal and we do the things that we need to do that have to be done in order to take care of each other, we will accomplish what the world says can't be done. And Custer himself had a famous quote on there aren't enough Indians in the world to stop the 7th Cavalry, and we did. And we did it through unity. We did it through staying together. And so we always have the home field advantage. We will always accomplish what the world says cannot be done, but we can only do that if we work together. That's what 1876 is.
And that's kind of the credo, I guess, of what punk rock is supposed to be anyways. It's like you said, you already have those values baked into your culture and your lifestyle and how you grew up. And yeah, that makes total sense. So how did the project, the band of 1876, how did that start?
It started with me. I had this idea for a long time of like mixing powwow music with punk rock, and I just couldn't figure out how to do it. And I couldn't find a band to do it with me. And people just couldn't, when I was trying to like describe it to people, they just couldn't hear what I was hearing. So eventually I just figured out how to do it on my own. And I'd already played all the instruments. Like I could already play all the instruments on my own. So I figured out how to record it, how to mix and EQ and all that stuff. And in 2020, I put out the first powwow punk rock EP, recorded on my own, mixed on my own. The only thing I didn't do was master it. That was my friend Brian who mastered it, but everything else was done on my own. And it stayed that way all the way through the third EP. And around the third EP, I finally was able to put a band together because there was interest in what I was doing, and the world had opened up, and people could hear what I was hearing. So I finally got a band together, and since like 2023, I think we've been running.
Those first 3 EPs, anyways, were done completely by you at home with no training, no anything.
Yeah, the first EP was 100% at home, like 100% recorded. I recorded each drum individually, like the hi-hat individual, snare individual, each cymbal individual. And I just super cool neighbors. But second EP, I was able to get enough money because that was part of the problem with the first EP is like I didn't have any money.
Yeah.
Second EP, I had just a little bit of money from like merch and stuff like that, and I was able to take that money and record drums in the studio.
Okay.
So I went to my friend Brian's studio and recorded some drums there, but everything else was done on my own. He sent me those tracks and I mixed them myself. So everything else again was done at my apartment, and then aside from the drums, and then the third EP came around, and again vocals, guitar, bass, strings were all recorded, and vocals were all recorded at my house, but drums and powwow drums were recorded. No, just the drums were recorded at the studio. And then I think I was able to afford Brian to mix maybe a couple songs, I think. I don't remember.
Well, shit, for being home recordings, those sound really good.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I tried. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, some of the best art comes from people that don't know what they're doing. Because there's no preconceived notions of you're doing it the wrong way or the right way. You're just doing it the way you think it should be done, and that's art. That's beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, that's what Brian told me, because I kept telling Brian, like, man, I wish I could afford to have you mix this, and he was like, well, I mean, the cool thing is you don't know how to do it, so there's no wrong. You just do it, like, just mix it to how it sounds right to you, and then that's it. So, looking back on them, like when I listen to them now, there's obviously a lot I would change, and I wish they were cleaner, but they were what I could do with what I had, which
Yeah.
is also what the punk rock ethos is, and what
It's DIY. It's 100% DIY.
100%. We're
Yeah.
100% DIY. We are everything punks say they want in a band, except for we aren't white.
No chance of selling out anytime soon.
No, not only because it's just not what we want, but I don't think it's what people with money want. I don't think they. I
Yeah.
don't think they want to
Good
invest in
point.
us.
Yeah. So the fourth one just came out last year, Powwow Punk Rock 4. So was that one done on your own too, or you had a band by that point? What was the involvement with the band?
Yeah, there was our bassist Jake. He played bass on all of it. I still recorded guitar on my own and bass on my own. I did vocals all on my own, but the powwow drums and the drums were recorded in studio. Yeah, those are all studio done. And then we had friends in on the album, so they did their own vocals or their own horns and things like that, or brass, I should say. But yeah, mostly still as DIY as possible.
So the covers of all the 1876 EPs all have a woman on the cover, and I've heard you talk about this before. These are all women in your life that have inspired you. Tell me about that.
Yeah, yeah, they're all four of them are women that I talk to pretty regularly, and anytime I have, I mean, constantly I talk to them. So like the first EP is my mom, the second one is my cousin, third one is my wife. Who I talk to occasionally. And the fourth one is all three of them plus my other cousin. So they're all just people who gave me gifts in my life that who have changed my life for the better. And they're women that they're like that I call them my counsel. They're like my own tribal council. Like when I have issues, I talk to them because they have more insight and more sight in general than I do. And they care more about my well-being sometimes than I do. So
Yeah.
they're able to like talk to me and help me with things that I need help with. But aside from that, they all of them have given me life in some way. And like my mom literally gave me life.
Yeah.
My cousin gave me life in my Cheyenne way, which is a way that I can't talk about, but she knows what she gave me, and it's a life that I wouldn't have had without her. My wife obviously gave me a new life, and then my other cousin, she gave me life in this world. She helped me a lot in the very beginning of 1876. Like she met me right at the beginning. We didn't know we were related. We didn't know anything like that, and we had just met and started talking, which is what Indians do. And when anytime Indians get together and they start talking, you find out you're related, and that's what happened. We're related. So she helped me with this side of my life. So these are like four different sides of my life that all four women have given me. And so this is aside from living my life as best as I can and making them as proud as I can, this was the best way I knew how to thank them, was celebrating them through my music and pushing them. Like, I don't know. It's maybe it's like, I don't know. I just want everyone to celebrate them as much as I celebrate them, as much as I want to celebrate them. I wanted everyone else to see their faces and celebrate them too.
Yeah, that makes sense. So as a band over the last few years, you guys have played some pretty high profile shows, been on some festivals, helped out on some tours with some bigger names. But what have been like your favorite experiences so far since 1876 has existed? Like, what has it allowed you to do, or what have you experienced with it that has really changed you or made a profound impact on you?
Dude, like, not to sound lame, but like every show, there's something. Like every show, big, small. If it's in a bar, if it's on a big stage, like there's always something there that really like either lets me know I'm on the right path, or or like you said, changes who I am as a person, or helps, like, I don't know, helps make life cooler, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's been a lot of moments, to be honest. Like we sang the what this music has been able to bring us, especially my brother who's also in the band. He's the powwow drummer, one of the powwow drummers. What this band has been able to bring him and I, like we went to Sixica, which is up in Canada, and that's where our family, our Blackfeet side originally comes from. Like a long time ago, before there were imaginary lines. That's where our family would go winter, because you like change areas for different parts of the year. And
Yeah.
so our family would go winter camp up in Sixica, and then they would come down to where Browning is now during the summers. And at some point, that imaginary line crossed, and we became Pagani, because the Nitsatapi Blackfeet have three. It's a band, so there's three groups. There's the Pagans, the Pagani, and Sixica. So we used to be Sixica, and then we became Pagani. But I never thought, and Joe, my brother, never thought that we would ever see Sixica, that we'd ever go there. And music brought us there. And we were able to play and sing in Blackfeet and Sixica land, where our family originally comes from. And then on the Cheyenne side, him and I, we played in Denver for a punk rock saves lives festival. And Denver is just like 60 or 80 miles away. It's like an hour away from the Sand Creek Massacre, which is where our Cheyenne family was completely decimated. And it's where the government like massacred us. And everybody in our family died except for this one little girl. She hid in a bush. And because of her hiding in that bush and listening to her family die, we are here today. So we were in Denver, just miles from that spot, singing in Cheyenne, playing music brought us there. Our language brought us there. Our culture brought us there to sing in our language and express our culture and show these fucking people that they didn't take anything from us. They didn't take a single thing from us, because we are still here and we are still singing our language and we are still Cheyenne. Just like up in Sixica, we are still Blackfeet. We are still singing in our language. We are still here. So those two things were like really, really dope on a family, like blood level.
Yeah.
But then there's like playing at the Crystal Ballroom was super cool. That's a big venue here in Portland. And as far as we know, we were the first powwow drum ever to bounce the heartbeat off of the walls there. So that was cool. Singing Kill All the White Man with no effects on their last tour.
Yeah.
That was really cool. Playing punk rock bowling was cool because I was there like 4 years ago, and I told my friend Mark, who was in the band at the time, all right, I didn't have a band yet, but I told him, I'm gonna get us here, dude. I'm gonna find a way to get us to play this festival, and I did. We played it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so that was cool. But yeah, I don't know, going on tour with Subhumans, hanging out with those guys, that was dope. Our tour with Starving Wolves, like meeting David he's from Starving Wolves, but he's also in the Casualties. That was cool. We're playing a song. We have a song. I don't know if I think I can say this. So we have a song with them on their new record.
Okay.
I don't know.
Casualties, yeah, that's releasing soon, right?
Yeah, I have to ask David if I can say that. You might have to cut that out. So maybe.
Well, this won't air until like mid-April.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, we have a song with them.
Awesome.
And that was like a really cool experience. Like, just being able to, I listened to the Casualties for a long time, and being able to sing a song with them, but specifically with David as their singer, was a really special for me.
I have a weird way of like categorizing music and songs in my head. So when I hear things that often will like I'll make a connection to something else, and then I'll tell somebody about it. And they're like, "What? What are you even talking about? That doesn't make any sense." Um, the 1876 songs, so many of them, like, just have this familiar sound. Like, it sounds something in it just feels comfortable and familiar, even though I know it's not, and there's no way it could be. I mean, like you said, you're the only powwow punk rock band so far. Hopefully, somebody else would pick it up and do it just as good as you.
They'll probably do it better.
Maybe. But there is some specific callbacks that are in your music, like the song about the guy running away from a girl that he got pregnant.
Oh yeah.
So in that song, you there's like a breakdown, and you start singing "A Message to You, Rudy." And I heard that, I was like, "What the fuck? Wow, cool. All right." There was another special callback, "Ghost Town." I can't remember which song that was in.
Yeah, that's in Punks and Rude Boys.
Right. Okay. Tell me about your songwriting process, and how much of, like, with those things. I mean, obviously those things were intentional, but like, how do you decide to put something like that in, and just in general, like, what is your songwriting process like? Because I mean, it's got to be radically different than most other punk bands, because you started. I mean, it was just you, and then you're also bringing in your indigenous cultural music into it, which is always so cool when bands do that. Like Bad Brains, for example, they brought in the reggae and stuff. Dropkick Murphys bring in all the Celtic stuff into a punk rock setting. You're bringing in the indigenous music, the American music into punk rock. How do you approach that, and how do you write what becomes the final product?
Each song is different. Like a lot of times, so I'm an EMT, and I just spend a lot of time driving. I have a lot of time to think. So I sometimes an idea will just hit me, and I'll start thinking about it and trying to work things out. But each song kind of starts, as far as the writing process, starts differently. Some songs start with the guitar line, some start with the melody, some start with lyrics, some start with like an obligation, like I feel like I need to say this, or I need to like there's something on my mind that I need to get out. But yeah, as far as like the mixing in like culture and things like that, Flogging Molly is one of my favorite bands of all time, and they were so like, watching them, listening to them, and things like that when I was a kid, it made me want to be Irish. I was just, like, I was so envious of the white kids at their shows who were like, "I'm Irish." Like, everyone just had this like cultural like awakening or something. And
yeah,
ever since I was a kid, I was like, I want to be that for Indians, man. I want my music to make white people and non-native people, like everybody who's not from here, I want my music to make them go, "Man, I wish I was them. I'm so stoked that they have this," like,
yeah.
That's how I felt at Flogging Molly show. I was like, damn, I wish I was Irish, dude. I would tell my mom, like, are you sure? Are you sure we don't have like any Irish blood? But yeah, each song is like, it's different as far as like bringing in references from other songs. The specials I owe a lot to, as an artist and as a musician. Like, I love the specials, and I just wanted to honor them the best way that I know how, which again comes from culture. Like, we always, when we honor each other or honor other people, it's usually, in my tribes either anyway, it's usually through song. And so you write a song for someone, or you sing them an honor song or something like that. And I still continue that practice. I just do it in our music. So I wanted to honor the specials because they have brought me so much in my life as a listener. And I don't know any of them individually. I don't know any of them at all. But just what they've given me as a young Indian kid in high school, and that's when I like found them. I'd always heard of them or whatever. I just never really listened to them. But I listened to Pressure Drop, which is a Toots and the Maytals cover. But Pressure Drop was the first one that caught me. And then from there, it was just like, I just dove in like head first. And up until that point, like we'd mentioned before, ska was just like this goofy thing you eat chicken nuggets to and go skateboarding. But like, then when I heard the specials, I was like, oh my God, you can actually make like social change with this music.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I dove in because that's just where my brain's at all the time. So adding in references and things like that, I do it quite a bit. Like punks and rude boys in general, I think I referenced like 7 or 8 different ska bands in that one song, and it was just to honor them all because ska, like the fun ska and the two tone ska is also fun, but like like third wave was big for me, and it did a lot for me. Being able to take my brain away from troubles of being a teenager and just go skateboarding, listening to third wave ska, like that was dope. But then when I was ready to go into like some social stuff, then I went to two-tone ska. So it was just kind of like honoring all these different types of ska music.
Yeah.
But yeah, to sum it up, to answer the very easy question to answer that I took a long time to answer, all the songs have a different way of starting, but all of them are always with my culture in mind. So culture, my culture is first. I always put it first before anything else. And when writing, so that's my process. Sometimes now I'll bring it to the band and be like, "What does everyone hear? Like, does anything anybody wants to add in, things like that." But it used to be all just me.
Yeah. Well, and I see that as basically like the folk tradition of, the tradition of folk music, and folk music meaning like the music of the people, specifically like passed down music. So much of that just comes from a really old song that then each time somebody plays it, they add their own take to it. They add things to it or take things away, and especially things that predate recorded music. Everything was passed down verbally, so songs would change.
Yeah.
And then, at least in American folk music, anyways, like in the '60s, when that kind of revolution started happening there within folk music, like people would take things from older songs and add a new, more modern twist to it. And then that just keeps going. And that's how hip hop really started too, was taking like the soul music and, some of the early rock and roll and stuff that they grew up on and putting their own newer take on it, or making their own music and bringing in older elements. And so that's a long tradition in just music in general, I guess. But now with copyright laws and everything, it's plagiarism. But but just the whole idea of sampling or interpolating is, it's just such an ancient process, really, for songwriting.
Oh yeah, it's human. It's human nature.
Yeah. It's there's only 12 notes, and nothing happens in a silo, or nothing happens in a vacuum. Especially not art. Everything is reflected from what you are intaking, what you're seeing, what you're hearing.
Yeah.
What inspires you. And I'm going to throw a curveball at you here, and I don't know the answer to this. I hope maybe you do. Maybe it's just a fluke in my brain. The first song on the fourth Power Punk Rock, the chorus, because I think the lyrics are, I hear the chorus of Lost, they holler from far away.
Yeah.
That melody sounds so fucking familiar to me. And my brain was going to like something I heard a lot when I was a kid. Like, is it like some like 80s song? And like, I started like scouring through songs, like trying to like cross-reference lyrics, or like, just listening to things that were really big at the time. Couldn't find it. So I don't know if it's probably just something that's just wrong with my brain when I hear that, but something is familiar about it and it feels comfortable.
Yeah. I would say that's your people calling you from far away, man.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It probably is.
It's your people calling. That's what that line means. Like, it's all of our people calling us. Whoever's listening, no matter what, you have the same time. Like, like we all come from somewhere. So you have the same calling that I have. So it's just your people calling from far away. If you're feeling comfort in it, that's your people.
There it is. Have you seen the movie Sinners?
Yeah.
That big scene right around the middle of the movie, the big musical scene where it brings in all the different cultures and all the people, from the past and then the future, all playing and dancing. God, that's fucking beautiful. And your music reminds me of that, because it's pulling so much from the past and the present and your own culture, but also like, the two-tone culture and stuff. And it's really cool. I like that a lot.
That's badass, man. I appreciate you saying that. I love that movie.
Dude, that's a great fucking movie.
That scene is so dope.
Yeah, absolutely blew me away when I saw that. So what are some of your favorite venues or just cities in general to play?
Well, our home venue here is the Twilight, and I'll always like elevate them if I can. Like I always tell people about them because they, for whatever reason, here in Portland to this day, we don't get a lot of opportunities in Portland. And the Twilight was like one of the first clubs because bars will book you, but they're like one of the first clubs that like took a chance on us or whatever and booked us, and then just kept alley-ooping us and being like, "Hey, here's another show. Here's another show. Like, want to open for this band?" So they really like those are our dudes. The Twilight, like that's our spot. So if you come through Portland, make sure you play the Twilight and make sure you let them know that 1876 told you to come play here because that's our people. But cities, Calgary is really dope. The Ship and Anchor, I heard that it might be closing, but the Ship and Anchor was a really cool place to play, and the people in Calgary are real supportive of musicians and art in general. Albuquerque was one of my favorite cities to play because the crowd was like mostly Indian. We've only played there once, but when we did, it was a big crowd, and they were mostly Indian, and that's where the song "Braids in the Pit" was inspired from. It was like watching all the braids in the pit, dude. Like the pit's usually up front, but for whatever reason, this one was like way back to the left. And I was
Happens
watching,
sometimes,
like,
yeah.
the whole time we're playing, I was watching them, and I was like, man, this pit's going off. And I was like really looking, and there's just braids and like beadwork flipping around. I was like, holy shit, that's so cool. But yeah, that's really cool. I don't know. Though I would say those are my two favorite cities. Like if I could go play anywhere at any time, that's where I would go because the people there just enjoy it so much. Up here in the Pacific Northwest, it can get kind of rough. Like people, especially up in Seattle, Seattle for whatever reason, everyone's just like this the whole time. So it's hard. It's hard to get to get the energy because like we are big into like getting people to move with us because that's what powwow music is. Like we're all in this room, we're all in this area together. One heartbeat. That's the powwow drum. One heartbeat. Yeah. We're all moving. And up in Seattle, everyone's just like, all right, man.
All right, you hear that, Seattle? Straighten up your act.
Don't straighten up so much.
Loosen up. Don't straighten up. Yeah. Loosen up and get your shit right.
Yeah, man.
Have you ever played Tacoma?
Tacoma, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we played Tacoma. I think it was I think last summer we played Tacoma. Played a festival, maybe. Oh no, I'm thinking of Olympia. Tacoma. I feel like we've played Tacoma, but I just can't think of it.
Well, you should play Tacoma. Crowds are a lot funner than Seattle. So.
Oh, good.
Sorry, Seattle. You're my neighbors and my homies, but Tacoma just goes harder. So what other type of genres are you into? What are some of your favorite bands like currently?
Currently, haven't been listening to a ton of music. Recently, I've been listening to a lot of Brazilian music. I just like the rhythm. And I know Carnival just happened, but I'm a little bit late. but yeah, I listen to a lot of Brazilian music. I just kind of I find artists that I like and I just stick with them, which I know is pretty normal for people.
Yeah.
Punk rock is one of my all-time favorite. It's definitely taken a seat but compared to other styles, but I'm a huge fan of reggaeton. I really love corridos tumbados. I like a lot. Corridos in general, but corridos tumbados specifically I like a lot. Hip hop. I always love hip hop. I love bass. That's the thing with Indians. That's why we love hip hop so much. Is we love bass. You ever see us and you feel that powwow drum, you'll understand like that.
Yeah.
The heavy bass, like 808s. Yeah. I specifically like. I like all hip hop, but my two favorites is West Coast hip hop because I'm from the West Coast, and then the South. I love Southern hip hop because they remind me of Indians, like Lil Jon and the East Side.
Mhm.
Boys, like they're one of my all-time favorite groups ever. And Outkast. Love
Yeah.
Outkast. But the difference between Outkast and Lil Jon for me is Lil Jon never did anything disrespectful or racist to my people. Outkast did. So I love Outkast, but every time I listen to them, I think about uh, Andre 3000 stage show and how he had like a bunch of fake Indian shit up there. But Lil Jon, what I like about the South, what I liked about the crunk era in general, but what I like about the Southern hip hop in general is it reminds me of Indians in the way that it's almost tribal. Like you can tell where people are from based on
Mhm.
how they look and how they dress. They're all there for the same reason. They're all hip hop. They're all Southern hip hop. They're all predominantly the same type of people, like Indians. But there's these little differences between people, like
Yeah.
or how they speak. Like when you see someone from a rapper from Florida compared to a rapper from Atlanta, there's different ways that they approach hip hop, or different ways that they look, or the different ways that they wear their hair. Hair is so specific to Indian culture. So I always
Mhm.
look at things like that. So I don't know. Now I'm geeking out, but
Oh, that's okay. What about 3 6 Mafia? You fuck with them?
yeah, like 36 Mafia. It's a little dark. It's a little cold. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
warmth in my music. Theirs is a little.
Okay. It's very cold. Yeah, yeah. Especially the older shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's kind of the darkness is what attracts me to that, I guess.
Oh, dude, the chants. I love the
Yeah,
chants in 3-6. But
yeah.
but it's cold. That's why I don't listen. That's why I don't really like New York hip hop either, because you can hear the coldness, like
It's
in their beat.
gritty. It's grimy. It's yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, you can hear the concrete, and I don't. I like to hear palm trees. I like to hear the
yeah,
sun.
yeah. Well, that's the difference between like something like Wu Tang versus something like from Death Row Records. The
Yeah,
Yeah, the death row stuff, the California stuff is way more laid back. It's smooth. It's a little easier on your ears. It doesn't challenge you as much. It's just kind of softer and easier to just vibe out to. Whereas the New York stuff is a lot more engaging, I guess.
yeah. I also think it's because I come from Portland, and Portland
Yeah,
is like right now it's gray. It's gray and raining. It's been raining for the last week. So
yeah,
every time I look out the window, it's cold and gray, and I don't want to hear that. I'm already looking. So I
yeah.
like to hear the sunshine. Like Indestructible is one of my favorite Rancid records. It's one of my favorite
Mhm.
records of all time. But it's not because of all the songs about Brody or whatever. Like it's not about any of the heartbreak or anything like that. It's because simply the sonics of it. How
Yeah,
you can hear Southern California, even though they're like Northern California to the Bay dudes. You can hear Southern California, and you can hear the heat, the sunshine. You can hear it
mhm.
all in the sonics of the music.
Yeah. Uh, Life Won't Wait, I think, is my favorite Rancid album.
Yes, it's another
I
good.
just I love all the Jamaican elements in there. And so, besides music, what else are you into? What else are you passionate about?
I do a lot of beadwork. I like art in general. Passionate about people. If I can help people, I can't. I will. Like I said, I'm an EMT, so I if I can help someone, I will. But as far as like hobbies, I do a lot of beadwork. Music has pretty much taken over everything, really. But yeah, I don't know. I just love life. I love springtime. I love the here in Portland, the cherry blossoms are starting to bloom, so
Yep.
I love that. um, yeah, I would say beadwork probably my number one thing after music.
So what's next for the band? I know you had mentioned that Powwow Punk Rock 4 was the last of the Powwow Punk Rock series.
Yeah.
Why? And then what's next?
Um, well, at the time of recording that, and still kind of, I'm not really sure where we go as a band, and I'm not really sure if this is a world the band wants to exist in. Um, like just, I'm a little more excited about it now, but especially after like recent to this interview, things that have happened. within the punk rock community. But I became like very disenchanted, very disenchanted with the punk world and the music industry in general. Like everyone knows the music industry is shit, but like you hope that when you are in this niche of the music industry, punk rock,
Mhm.
that it's a little bit different. The morality is people first, and things like that. The humanity of it is still, that's what I always loved about punk rock, is it seemed like there's a lot of humanity in it. And then we're getting through more doors and seeing less and less humanity, and um and then doors are being shut on our face. So it's a little bit like the punk music industry is telling us like we don't want you, and it's a little bit like us saying, me anyways, feeling like, well, I don't really want you either. So I don't really know. Like I said, at the time of this interview, I'm actually a lot more excited about the industry and about the punk world because of things that have happened recently.
Mhm.
But leading up to that fourth EP, one, it's just the end of the series. It was always meant to be four.
Okay.
And then two, I've become very disenchanted with the people within this industry and where we fit in it as a band. I will say, Bad Cop, meeting them, they were such a glow of light and such a recharge for me and the rest of the band. Like we really needed that meeting. We really needed those women. Like they, if there's another powwow punk rock, they would probably be those four on the front of that album because they gave me new life within this band because I
Yeah.
was just about to quit when I met them because I was tired. I was over all this. I was over the grind. I was over the people because you grind and you grind and grind so much. You work yourself to the bone to get to like this step. And then you
Mhm.
find out like, oh, well, because you don't have any corporate backing, because you don't have this, because you don't have all these things that like requires you to make it to this spot, to get to these stages, like you'll never have it. And as Indian people, we've been told that our whole lives, dude. Every day is that. Like you don't have enough of this, you don't have enough of that, blah blah blah. And you see these other bands using church money or or relying on their faith or relying on the Mormon church or whatever, or relying on somebody outside of their community. People who walk in my community say that they're from this community, say that they are Indians first, or they want to like voice us as a people, but that's not how they're making their way up the ladder. They're using money from everyone else that they're, like it's stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they're making it further or whatever. Like they're the guys, not us who did it the way that punk rock says you're supposed to do it. We live the life everyone says you're supposed to live. DIY to the day we die. Like we're not corporate. We have no corporate backing. We have no label. We are self-governed, self-owned. We have our own label. Like we did everything the way punk rock taught us to do it.
Mhm.
And that's keeping us here. But all these bands who take corporate money and church money, they're going here. And you start getting through those doors and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, this is what we're doing. So anyway, back up because of them. I still want to do this. As of this recording, I'm still excited about punk rock and the punk rock world. But leading up to that fourth EP, I was pretty not charmed with punk music anymore. The
Mhm.
future of 1876, I hope that we get to play some bigger shows. Hope we get to get on some bigger stages because I know we can make those crowds move. And this is a challenge to any of those festivals who have those big stages. Put some Indians on that stage. Let us move those people. Put Indians on that stage, not people who say they represent us. Put Indians on that stage. We have a powwow drum. Let us make everyone feel our heartbeat. Make us all let everyone's heartbeat be one for one day, for one set. Let us do that. And then hopefully we put an album out. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, no, what you were saying about different like levels of punk bands making it beyond a level. Like, I don't think punk was ever supposed to break past a certain level. Not to lend credence to, you know, any elitist that would say, "Oh, these bands are sellouts, these bands are sellouts," because I think that's so bullshit most of the time. But it is like, if you go above the DIY club playing small festival level, then you do become a more corporate band and you exist in an entirely different world than the core of punk rock. But I guess the good side of that is you reach more people, and then that band can become a gateway to people learning about smaller bands and smaller scenes. I guess there's a little bit of good and bad to all of that, I guess, depending on where you're at with it.
There's a balance. There's always a balance, like the Force.
Yeah, exactly.
Always
Thank you.
But yeah, I think as artists, like punk rock in general is art, and whether people like it or not, people within punk are artists, and any artist, painter, poet, author, clay, anybody who does art, if they can make a living off their art, that's what this world is about. Like that's the world we all want as artists. And punk rock, punk artists, they are artists. So for 5 artists to come together and be able to make a living off of their collective art, that's dope. And that's something that should be strived for, because that's what every single artist wants. One, to express themselves, but 2, we live in a world where you need money. So,
and 99% of the time, your job and your needing to put food on your table and a roof over your head is in direct conflict with your ability to create art.
100%, for a reason.
Yeah.
So if you can break those chains and you're able to make money and pay bills and feed you, yourself, and your family. I said yourself. I said you twice. Anyways, feed everybody around you.
Yeah.
Off of your art. That's such a cool thing, and that's what every artist, I feel, is striving for.
Yeah.
So
just hopefully you don't have to make too many concessions or sacrifices of your art in order to make it happen. Hopefully not.
And there's 100% ways to do it. Like, and I think I often think that's why Indians aren't allowed in those kind of circles. When you see Indians in those circles, you should question why they're there. Sometimes, I don't know. But I feel like a lot of times Indians aren't allowed in those circles because we have we just don't hold the same value that other people do on money and opportunity. So I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it.
That's fine. Okay, so last question is a new one I've been throwing at people. What gives you hope?
The sunrise. When I see the sunrise, I know that I'm still here and my job isn't done. Playing shows and seeing the crowds grow, seeing people really resonate with the lyrics, like that gives me hope. Seeing things like communities coming together and understanding where their power lies as a community, and seeing when you de-invest in something as an individual, and then eventually as a community, when you de-invest in something, what happens to that something, and seeing the proof of that recently gives me a lot of hope. But most importantly, every day, it's my people and it's the sunrise that gives me hope. Every day the sun rises, I know I'm still here and my job isn't done. I'm still with my people are still with me, and my time to be with them forever isn't here yet. So I need to work still.
About the blood that's in my veins, being spilled on sand creek that wasn't dating. She was maybe younger than 6, hiding from the violence, hands covered in limbs. Unable to make a sound, unable to say word, afraid that she might be found and killed with the poison girl. A lesson learned and a test to make up
We interrupt this podcast to shout out our pal Kira's business, Grit City Canine. If you have a pup and you need to wash them, you can either self-wash or book an appointment. Hit him up on Grit City Canine on Instagram.
Hey, kids.
Hey, Dad.
What do you want to do today?
I don't know.
Do you want to go to the matinee?
No.
Do you want to go to the amusement park?
No.
Do you want to go to the punk rock show?
Yeah, let's go to the punk rock show.
This Thursday at Real Art Tacoma, we have the Rat Utopia Experience, Downsize, Worms in Dirt, and Team Non-Existent. That is this Thursday, April 30th at Real Art Tacoma. Same day at Chop Suey in Seattle is Beautiful Freaks, Black Ends, Universe, Casino Youth, and Fatal Femmes. That's Thursday the 30th at Chop Suey. On Friday the 1st is a La Resistencia benefit at Slice of Life featuring Star Matriarch, Trash Panda Go-Kart, Skullcat, and Small Yards. That is an immigration support benefit at Slice of Life. Same day at Daryl's Tavern in Seattle is the Disorderlies, Shamebanger, and Sick Moranis. Honestly, Sick Moranis is like a 10 for 10 kick-ass band name. I just gotta say, kudos. Great fucking band name. So that's at Daryl's Tavern on Friday the 1st. It's a 21 and over show, that one is. Unless I say otherwise, just assume all these shows are all ages. There's a benefit for the National Day Laborer Organizing Network. This is happening in the Charleston. It features Anona, Ludos, and Downsize. On Saturday the 2nd, at Lavoyer and Olympia, Socks, Kick Fu Squad, Anti-Summer, and New Cruelty. At Lucky Liquor on Saturday the 2nd is The Past, Ebenezer and the Scroogers, and Fuck You. That's Lucky Liquor on Saturday the 2nd. At El Corazon on Saturday, May 2nd is Terror, Pain of Truth, End It, Start Today, and Tacoma hardcore band Chopping Block. And at the Charleston on Saturday the 2nd is Forged by Dread, Lung Duster, and Star Matriarch. A lot of choices on the 2nd, depending on where you live. On Sunday the 3rd, Hot Step Bomb and Velvet are hosting touring bands Universe and Casino Youth at Real Art on Sunday the 3rd. I've seen Universe before. They're from Southern California, and they're really rad. Not familiar with Casino Youth, but I could only assume if they're on this bill, they're probably really rad too. This is, I think, Hot Step Mom's first show in a while, in several months, I think I could safely say they are gearing up for an album release, hopefully soon, and more fun stuff coming out of them. They've been pretty quiet lately. Moving on to the next week, on the 7th is a 21 and over show at No Fun. You've got Free the Internet, All Friends Here, and Naomi March Band. Another 21 and over show at McCoy's in Olympia. On the 8th is Big Time, Division Street, and Ponte's Revenge. That's at McCoy's on May 8th. On May 9th is a 21 and over show. It's a Northwest Abortion Access Fund benefit show featuring Beautiful Freaks, Flea Mail, and Bazaar. That's at Baba Yaga on the 9th. Also on the 9th at Real Art is Four Dead Seasons, Primordial Atrocity, Cryptoxic Mortality, Hostile Machines, and Kapala. And finally, on the 9th at McCoy's in Olympia is another 21 and over show with Kids on Fire, La Predator, and Teeth for Eyes. So lots of shows to go to. Go to as many as you can. And I will see you at least 2 of them over the next couple of weeks.
Hey there, Grit City Punk listeners. It's Rabbithutch. One night, I was sitting at home and saw a post come by about Real Art's 10-year anniversary and thought, man, someone should make a documentary about that. You know what? Fuck it. I'll make a documentary. And so I did. I put out the call asking to interview people from the community, and a lot of you responded, which was just absolutely amazing. So I am really excited to announce that my documentary Rat, A Community Love Letter, will be premiering on May 16th at Real Art Tacoma at 7 p.m. I really hope to see as many of you there as Real Art can handle. I want to sell out that venue and really show them just how much they mean to this community. I really hope to see you all there.
That's it. That's the end of the show. Thank you so much to Gabe for the interview. And honestly, if you are not following 1876, you are fucking up. Go check out all their albums. You could get them on Bandcamp, stream them everywhere. Go see them live if you can. If you can make it to the Victory Day Festival in June, I would highly recommend doing that. It's on the 26th, I believe, in Portland. I'm going to try to make it. No promises, but we will see. And huge shout out to the other bands that I featured on the show. Go follow them, listen to their music, buy their merch, stream their music, tell your friends about them, go see them live. You know, the scene is really thriving right now, and I just want to see it continue to thrive with more bands releasing more music. And speaking of music, you can find a playlist on Apple and Spotify of the music that I've been featuring on the show. I keep the last couple of episodes worth of music on there, and it's updated each new episode. And on my YouTube, you can listen to the podcast on the YouTube, and also you can watch footage from local bands that I've taken. It's not anything impressive video quality wise. It's just from my phone, but it's a good chronicle, I think, of the local scene and the bands that I've checked out. And coming up maybe this week, probably this week, will be the next installment of Grit City Punk Radio. The first one for the month of April was really cool, I think. I had a lot of fun making it. It was kind of by random design. I just threw all of the songs that I have in my library from punk or punk adjacent bands, anywhere from the 70s all up to now, featuring the majority of local bands compared to non-local. But it was all just kind of like randomly generated off of a big list, and then I would pick that off of that list and make a playlist out of it, since obviously there's thousands upon thousands of songs. So this next one for the month of May is a little bit more intentional. Still same kind of process, but a lot more intentional, and it's kind of tying in with the theme of the Grit City Punk Rock show happening in May, which is the Terror in Tacoma 2. If you are familiar with the bands playing there, then maybe you can kind of catch like a sonic theme, kind of a thread that binds them all together. At least in my head, it does. And this new playlist will feature a song from each of them and kind of showcase that thread that runs through them all. I don't know if any of that makes sense, but it makes sense to me, damn it. So thanks to everybody for listening. Follow and subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts at. I think it's pretty much everywhere. And make sure you stay hydrated. Make sure that you are taking care of yourself and your people that you care for. And if somebody falls, pick them up. I'm going to leave you with a song from MFD. This is called Home Again. It is off of their EP from last year called More Fucking Demos. And this is a very fitting track, considering Chad has just left the band. But, you know, we wish him the best of luck, and we wish MFD the best of luck. Like I said earlier, this is a new chapter for both of them, and really excited to see what both of them do. But this is Home Again from MFD. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, stay hydrated. Fuck the patriarchy, fuck Donald Trump, fuck ICE, fuck fascism.
This has been a Jiggle Down Productions production.
Nothing to fear, those days are gone, far behind us.
Yeah, sorry, got me a little emotional there at the end. Can you do me a like an intro, like radio style drop, just who you are and that this is Grit City Punk? Do it a couple of times. I like to have some be real too.
Sure. What's going on? It is I, Mr. Steal Your Girl Some Horses. This is Grit City Punk. I don't know.
It's just Grit City Punk. It's fine.
Okay. Again?
Sure.
Hey, this is Gabe from 1876. This is Grit City Punk.
All right. Yeah, it's technically it's a podcast, but I hate the word podcast, and I hate what it like makes people think of, like, like, oh, you're a guy and you have a podcast. Oh, great. So for a long time, I've been doing this just over a year now, and for a long time I was telling people it's a radio show. It's a radio variety show. Like, oh, what station are you on? Oh, okay, well, it's a podcast, but it's a podcast.
Yeah, every time I hear the word podcast, I think of that NoFX song. Is it the Marxist?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, this the Revolution is going to be a podcast.
Yeah. I hear his voice. The Revolution's gonna be a podcast. I think of that like every time I hear the word podcast.
Yeah. Well, shit. Yeah, the way corporate media is going, and it's pretty much the only way people find out stuff is from podcasts. But it's just you gotta pick the right ones. And music,
dude. I was gonna tell you that about folk music. You were mentioning folk music and how like it was making such social change.
Yeah.
Well, then look what happened right after that. The hippie movement, where you could buy the fashion and you could buy all these different things that made you look like them. That's how the fucking country does it, dude.
Yeah, and then all the boomers thought that they fixed everything with the hippie movement. They get down on their kids for fighting for social change. They're like, oh, we already fixed all that. Racism, it doesn't even exist anymore. Remember, we had Martin Luther King, we had Bob Dylan, we fixed all that. We had Woodstock. Like, you didn't fix shit.
That'd be like us being like, anytime there's an issue in the Middle East, we'd be like, no, remember George Bush, mission accomplished. It's already done, dude.
It's done. Yeah, we fixed it. Yeah,
we fixed it a long time ago, dude.
We took that statue down.
That changed everything.